detergent companies are going to hate.
When the boy snatched her orange, she actually spat on it. She told him to go buy his own if he wanted one. But then another girl handed him a glass of orange juice, so he mocked the first girl for being stingy. She got really angry. She snatched the juice from him and spat into it again. The boy thought she was unreasonable, so he just threw it away. But then another boy snatched it up. He also grabbed the orange on the way. When the little boy looks at his dad with a smile and says, I would like to.
3 things that don't exist in Japan. This 8-year-old girl.
The girl wanted her sisters. The girl wanted her sisters to believe she was very strong. So when her younger sister wasn't looking, she used a pre-cut watermelon and pretended to break it open with her bare hands. The younger sister was shocked and immediately believed it was real. But then she took a whole watermelon and tried to break it too. She used all her strength, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't budge it. This girl sat in her.
This girl was taking a modeling test where she had to step through the steps without looking at the gap. She moved slow, stayed focused, but one quick glance ruined the whole flow. And just like that, she failed the round. Then she tried sneaking around from the side, but that move didn't count either. That's when her teacher stepped in, kept it calm, kept it clean, and showed her how. This guy just destroyed his luxury sports car because it started pouring rain. So he had to run back to the car to close up the roof, but the motor controls were too slow, and his interior was already getting drenched. So we had to slowly watch his car being ruined. And when the roof finally closed the rain. This is how China infected the world with its virus, because when the scientist opened a bag full of virus juice, he started flopping around like a suffocating fish. Then a second scientist went into the lab to check it first. Black virus poop began spilling everywhere. After that, the big virus came out and the crazy guy pushed it into his hand, thinking he'd become some kind of superhero. But when he opened his hand, this man worked at BMW for 45 years, and today is his last day. As a farewell, he receives a specially made keepsake from the company, and all his colleagues are heartbroken to see him go. Before I show you what happens, like and subscribe if you love your mother. But that wasn't the only thing he received. The company surprised him with a brand new car, completely free, as a thank you for.
These students literally wrote.
Why does the US government spend millions of dollars every year? Why does the US government spend millions of dollars every year cleaning up fallen leaves just to throw them away, while other countries literally turn that trash into cash? You see, this is a biomass pellet machine, and it works much like a meat grinder combined with a hydraulic press. The moment dry leaves go in, they are compressed under high pressure, which raises the internal temperature. The heat softens the plant's natural binders and makes them work like glue. As a result, the leaves are compressed into dense biomass, and when it comes out through the holes, it forms small fuel pellets that burn efficiently and are much more eco-friendly than regular firewood. But the best part is that this machine can run all year round and not just in the fall. Once the leaves are gone, it can switch to sawdust, husk, straw, or almost any kind of agricultural residue, turning waste into profit.
These swimmers had a wild pool idea, so the lifeguard turned it into a perfect line. They rocked arms tight, crossed side to side, then dropped one by one like a timed water ride. Never pressed his black button just because someone tells you to, or you could end up like this guy. He
Some
touched
of
it by
these
mistake,
dogs are
and
smaller than a house cat. These are the top 5.
This puppy was born so small that everyone.
This girl found a baby that looked like a sweet, This girl found a baby that looked like a sweet.
So in my last video,
Wheel came out from inside. Within seconds, 4 wheels came out, and the whole this happy young girl who was born
with one leg. She can take off the piece by herself like a peg. She takes off the piece by herself with great pride. And
This is how handball players normally keep their balls sticky, by using a special resin and applying it around their ball. But when this guy found himself alone after practice, he grabbed his coach's resin and decided to do the
This guy wanted to test how his corgi and husky would react to different water. Husky would react to different water levels with no water at all. The two pups just wandered around the empty pool curiously. But the moment he added a little water on their paws, they went wild, splashing like they were at a pool party. Then he raised it higher, and the poor corgi started paddling frantically because his tiny legs couldn't reach the bottom, while the husky.
everyone thought this man didn't even know how.
When her mom tossed away the noodles she had made, this girl screamed so loud, then woke up afraid. But this time she had a plan in her head and hit the stop button before things went bad. With everything frozen, she moved real quick, drained the noodle water and dried it thick. Then she packed the powder back in a sachet, cleaned every noodle in the neatest way. She placed them.
This girl has spent the entire past month creating something amazing using only dice today. She makes a final attempt with the long ruler, carefully lining them up one by one. At first nobody understands what she's building, but when everything finally comes together, 3 Chinese characters appear, revealing the word Chinese dream. This girl has spent the entire past month creating something.
This dog kept farting non-stop, so the owner wrapped its butt with a bandage. But his plan completely failed and the farts just kept coming, so the guy made a genius plan instead. He connected a tube from the dog's butt into a bag, but even after doing that, the dog kept blasting out gas that the bag actually lifted into the air. And even with all that, the dog. When this little girl stepped onto the stage, all the other kids were dancing, but she stood still and silent. Then she told the coach that she was hungry and that's why she couldn't dance. After that, the coach gave her her favorite food, and as soon as she ate, she started dancing so well that everyone began leaving likes. When this little girl stepped onto the
On Teacher's Day, students brought gifts for their teacher. One gave food, another gave a phone, and one even offered cash. But the last student had nothing to give, so he simply showed his love with a sweet gesture. Sadly, only 2 people like this video. This girl decided to try a challenge that could end up costing her money. At this restaurant, customers can take as much tiramisu as they want in one scoop, and the whole portion becomes free. But if even a tiny piece falls, they must pay for the dessert. The carefully lifted a huge scoop with a spoon, while everyone watched closely with how much tiramisu she managed to take. The restaurant staff were not happy. This girl decided.
This is how people cheat easily.
This guy is the king of water slides. At first he seems like a humble beginner who's got nothing but weight.
This woman is growing.
Alright, so this is how we.
When this girl is doing the makeup. This girl bought a special drink.
The girl lost her dog and missed it terribly, so she made a plush dog friend. She used all the fur in the toy to make it look just like her dog. The toy was finally finished, her grief subsided. It was as if her beloved dog had returned, healing her broken heart. Give her a like. The girl lost her dog and missed it terribly, so she made a...
This guy bought a stain-free carpet and put it to the test. He poured pink paint on top just to see if it was the best. The paint refused to leave, so he poured another wave. Soon the rug was glowing pink and looked beyond to save. He sprayed it down with soap and washed it through the night. He even used a washing machine just to make it white, but the pink was there to stay. So now he's got a fancy rug, but she might be the most popular teacher in the world. Before the exam, she didn't have her students memorize anything. Instead, she taught the whole class how to draw a rose in just 1 minute. The teacher demonstrated step by step on the blackboard. The students followed along. Every stroke was simple and clear. Before long, they had drawn a beautiful...
This woman pressed every floor to
America.
This boy wanted to give his father a set. This girl hates Coca-Cola, so when she went on her bike, she grabbed only the Sprite.
This boy has come to put his fish into the river. The fish had grown quite big in size, so he decided to give them a new home by freeing them. And now As soon as he throws it into the river, the fish immediately runs towards him. He kept throwing it again and again, but the fish always swims back to the boy. This is because the fish loves him a lot. This boy
sprayed something strange on the bride's dress, and she got so mad she almost wrecked the place. Everyone thought he ruined her wedding day and turned the whole moment into a mess. But he was actually saving the dress from a deep stain and left it shining like nothing ever happened. This boy sprayed something strange on the bride's dress, and she got so mad.
This couple decided to follow a delivery guy because he was carrying a huge pizza order with a red flag in his hand. They kept wondering who could have ordered so many pizzas, so they followed him until he finally arrived at a massive house. At first, he looked a little...
First show your age. Then show how many bedrooms are in your house. Now show how many bathrooms are in your house.
This boy thought raising
When his mom was playing a game with her family, she was sure she knew where the ball would be. Without thinking twice, she bet $100 and she won with ease. But her husband suggested playing again, and this time he planned a little scam. When she placed her bet on the left cup, her daughter even told her, never press this black button just because someone tells you to, or you could end up like this guy. He touched it by mistake and the wheel came out from inside. Within seconds 4 wheels came out and the whole car started to form. But when people realized it was an AI generated car, they left a like so they could get one. Never press this black button.
This gun will get Jesus caught.
This mom was slicing a watermelon for the family. The second she cut the first piece, her son grabbed it and started eating. Then she handed the next slice to her little daughter, but this girl didn't dig in like her brother. She turned around and carried it straight to her dad on the sofa, and he beamed when mom cut a third slice. When this girl lifted this sacred stone, she easily carried it on her shoulders, because only a pure person with God's blessing can lift it. But when this boy tried to lift the stone, he fell down, and many people tried, but no one could carry the stone. When this girl lifted this sacred stone, she easily carried it on her shoulders, because only a pure person with God's blessing can lift it. But when this boy tried to lift
Look, in China, when someone leaves the house,
Look, when this baby refused to drink his syrup. Look, these girls went to the pool to...
Who stepped on this dough? I'll find.
This guy decided to prank a hippo. He gave the hippo a tiny berry. The hippo...
Every time this artist starts twisting wire into shape, people think the whole thing is about to look terrible. This Chinese craftsman uses tons of wire, while people keep claiming his work is going nowhere. When he starts cutting pieces, the tree looks rough and strange, like one wrong move could ruin the whole frame. But near the end, the tiny details start to shine, and the twisted branches turn into a bonsai design.
This is the forgotten.
If you see this old lady lying in the...
My dad broke this glass. This puppy was born so...
This man raised a bee. The bee...
This is the craziest man of all time, because this dog was born with only one eye. Because of that, its owner... This is the craziest man.
This girl saw blood coming.
Cleopatra wore
Every day before letting her students into the classroom, this teacher checked to make sure they were wearing an extra layer of warm pants, because the weather had gotten too cold. One by one, the kids rolled up their pant legs for inspection. Some proudly showed off their thick thermal leggings, while a few cheeky students revealed bare legs and tried to sneak past with a sheep. This girl started climbing the spinning screw, and at first she looked like she knew what to do. Step by step she kept moving high, so everyone thought she would reach the sky. But the higher she climbed, the more she slid, falling right back no matter what she did. Still, she kept trying again and again, until she finally knew it it was enough.
This girl went to the dentist and got confused by a yellow device. She thought she was gonna bite down on it, but the dentist stopped her. She bit down completely, but it was still wrong. She even brought her nose closer, still no luck. The dentist kept shaking his head. It turned out the dentist just wanted her to remove the plastic cover. This guy was trying to walk on water using 1 packet of chips, but it didn't work, so he brought 10 packets of chips, but he still fell straight into the water. Then he made a boat using 50 packets of chips, but when he jumped on it, he fell in again. But he tried again, and this time
I'm going to hide this gold biscuit inside one of these thousands of balls. Whoever finds it will get to keep it. So champions, are you ready? Yeah, we're ready.
Sophia, Today was the white dog's birthday.
When this mom woke up at night, her newborn baby was not there. She panicked and woke up her husband, and they both started searching everywhere. Neither of them could find the baby anywhere. But then the mom checked her husband's pillow, and there was their newborn sleeping completely peacefully. When this mom
Fast or slow?
This boy was bored, so he decided to
This girl used the last drops of her blood. If you ever feel like something is moving in... Look, this little girl used... Look, this guy lives in Australia and could...
dress up his... These kids were scared to go.
These girls want a short hair. This guy is a fool and keeps breaking the clay by dropping the pots that he made every day. He sets them on edges where they're sure to fall, to look like he has no real talent at all. He taps on the table and breaks them by... This guy is a fool and keeps breaking the clay.
These are the smartest parents in the world, because when their child was...
These parents are super smart, because when their child was really sick and refused to take...
This girl has such long hair, she barely needs... This girl has such long hair, she barely needs to wear any clothes. But today she had a birthday party, so she put on a jacket and covered her hair with it. But when she pulled her hair out, she realized it was as long as her body, and everyone wanted to see her face. But the problem is she had never shown it on the internet. So when she started putting on makeup, the mirror reflected her face, and she received 1 million likes.
When she graduated from high school,
this man found a broken tooth in his chair, but he had 3 dogs, so whose was it there? He started checking their mouths one by one. This man found a broken tooth in his chair, but he had 3... This man found a broken tooth.
The woman reached out to...
are you ready?
Yeah.
These are all the animals that Oatmeal saw at Kismet's launch party. A large inflatable dog that he did not trust, a woolly mammoth,
The student accidentally made the funniest mistake.
This girl never had a boyfriend her whole. Some animals are so transparent your eyes.
Please don't be ugly.
When this athlete stepped.
देखो नहीं मैं टिचुल है.
Please give me water.
These are the top 5 most beautiful.
This woman was told by her doctor.
This couple wanted perfect.
The kitten was chewing on everything in the house, so the owner decided to check its teeth and found that they had started to come in. He wanted to see how sharp the teeth were, so to test them, he let the kitten bite a.
This guy wanted to make a special meal for his little dogs. First, he cooked some fresh meat.
The kitten was chewing on everything in the. The kitten was chewing on everything in the house, so the owner decided to check its teeth and found that they had started to come in. He wanted to see how sharp the teeth were, so to test them, he let the kitten bite a piece of cardboard. It turned out the kitten's teeth were indeed very sharp. Afterward, the owner gave the kitten a special treat designed for kittens going through teething. He was also curious to see if it would hurt to be bitten by the kitten, but it didn't, though the kitten didn't get any likes or subscriptions for it.
When the girl woke up, she found that her
And this object is dipped into water.
While the boy was drawing intently, his teacher mistook him for. While the boy was drawing intently,
This girl suddenly.
This student accidentally made the funniest.
While the owner was doing makeup on her cute.
Her mom made her wear high heels every day.
The girl was not clean at all. She hadn't washed her hair for 100 days.
This cat was acting exact.
Bite me. Release. Bite me to death. Step back a little.
this bride stopped while wearing her wedding dress.
When this boy was practicing.
I think this is the smallest.
The student made the funniest mistake one day.
The big white cat kept.
This girl has such long hair.
At midnight in the dorm,
This child is the world's young.
This woman was abandoned by her.
Yuki isn't like other dogs, okay?
If you also pick up a cat by holding
This tiny puppy couldn't even.
Can I use suction cups to
never drop your dog's
Look, when this guy came home from the city after many months.
This wife hates her husband so much, so she
His 50-year-old grandpa saw that this 20-year-old boy was. His 50-year-old grandpa saw that this 20-year-old boy was scared to practice martial art. So to remove his fear, the grandpa demonstrated a water kick. Everyone thought it looked pretty easy. But when the grandpa climbed a 7-foot wall in a single jump, it was clear that doing this at his age was no ordinary feat. Seeing this, no one could believe their eyes, and everyone ended up liking.
It's the same old theme. To the back, to the front.
When these three paint. This girl lost her dog and she missed him so much. And we will never ever. Oh no!
Oh my God.
This biker was riding down the road.
While they were digging a well, disaster struck. The ground suddenly collapsed, burying one worker alive. While they were digging a well, disaster struck.
This boy was so poor that he couldn't even afford a simple.
The girl was shocked when her cat suddenly.
These girls wanted short hair.
Ashling? Betty!
While walking in his yard, a man saw a weasel.
After this girl adopted a tiny.
When the actress ran backstage, she had almost no time left.
This girl noticed a bunch of cats.
These girls bought swimming cats. This man was feeling lonely, so he.
This 100-year-old grandma had
Oh my God! Honey, no!
Look, this girl was very sad because her mom would never let.
She gave everything.
This couple wanted a beautiful wedding.
Oh my gosh!
puts two clasping toy hands on.
When this dad plays fetch with his two dogs,
Get up, Baba!
This guy wanted to see how smart his horses were, so at feeding time he laid.
the girl received the dog she had always wanted as a birthday.
Look, this boy made a series.
If the glass breaks while bathing in an infinity pool, many people could lose.
Find something so out of the ordinary.
This man is the stranger. This teacher said that if the weakest student could
These girls wanted to see.
While rolling on the sidewalk, this disabled guy came across the wildest design. This girl is really smart. This dog was having a...
It is possible to have too much of a...
These students had to hit a backflip to graduate from their gymnastics school, but wait till you see what the last one does. They went one by one, flipping in a smooth chain, almost like a wave flowing across the floor. A few of them needed some support, but in the end they all managed to land it. Then it came down to the final student and the move they pulled off.
This guy made such an illusion on the wall, using only 3 stickers that anyone who saw it would instantly get fooled. But because this girl came to Dubai to try flyboarding and was amazed seeing people flying above the water, she asked another girl how to learn to fly. The girl jokingly said, "You have to be beautiful to fly." Hearing that, she went to buy a new dress, then she...
This man snapped his dog's nose just to hang it on the wall and used those little nostrils as a charger. Best of all, the dog puffed up with anger, but the owner pulled him near. Sneaky little cuddle just to wipe away the tear. Next came the open mouth shot stuck. She puts her leg inside a hole because whoever fits the tightest gets a ton of cash. This girl traveled to Dubai to try flyboarding. This girl bought the latest iPhone.
After the teacher finished his phone call, he forgot to turn it off. Then the troublemaker in the back.
Look, when this boy was 5, his mom gave him this bed. When he was 6, his dad gave...
This barber tried to cut her.
When these boys entered the park, they had to take off their shoes, but each time one of them removed...
A stray dog noticed that
This kid is crazy lucky. Once he tossed a balloon into the stadium. People pushed it through the air. Not long after the balloon made its way onto the field, but some players got confused, and for a moment this girl threw on a wig and shorts. This girl threw on a wig and shorts to pass as a boy, and once the coach got distracted, she dashed onto the football field. The girl was so gifted that the boys couldn't deny her skills, but one day her dad spotted her during a game. He had never allowed her to play football and used to give her dolls because she was a girl. But after watching her skills, these little girls were performing on stage at a shopping mall, but their nervousness made them forget the moves. So their dance teacher crouched down right in front of the stage and started doing every step along with them. She used sharp arm movements, exaggerated faces, and cute little poses to help the kids remember. In earlier times, car steering wheels.
This guy can turn literally anything into a skateboard. He's kickflipped a shovel, skated a glass board, and even rode a refrigerator door. But
this teacher is practice, showing how much you can make with just a
But when this man decided to spend the night on a frozen lake, he cut a perfectly round circle of ice around his campsite. Then attached a boat motor to it. The entire ice island slowly started rotating. When people asked why, he said it was the
This guy was trying to stretch as far as possible, but could only reach 19 and lost. She pushed hard, but only reached 23 and fell down. Everyone was trying to hit 27th because there was a big prize for the winner. Then this grandma wanted to give it a try and only managed 6 points.
While this couple was exchanging their wedding promises at the altar, the bride suddenly felt something strange crawling.
This girl was chewing on something that looked like a tire. Her boyfriend was completely stunned. The girl told him it was a giant candy, but it was incredibly hard. No one could bite into it. The boyfriend immediately grabbed it and took a big bite. Then the girl pulled out a real candy and ate it right in front of
This tiny fish was cleaning.
This kid had never seen snow before because their family lives by the beach. Snow never falls where they are, so the experience was something the child simply never had a chance to have. Then one day, their grandpa decided to do something about it. He drove his truck up to the mountains, filled the entire back with snow, and brought it all the way home.
This girl visited the
This student made a mistake that had his entire school laughing. His teacher asked him to go next door and borrow some chalk, but he got mixed up, walked out one door, then came back through another entrance thinking he had reached a different classroom.
Excuse me, can I borrow some chalk?
He asked, the teacher told him no, so he left and returned a moment later saying the other class didn't have any either. Everyone burst out laughing.
Ever since she was little, this girl had always wondered how the light inside the fridge turned off when the door closed. Today she tried peeking inside, she slowly
This Porsche is covered with real people's names because this guy is actually a YouTuber. And whenever someone likes his video, subscribes to his channel, and writes their name in the comments, he writes that name on his car the very next day. And by doing this again and again, his whole car became complete.
When this man was washing a customer's car, he noticed a doll attached to the back of it. At first, he thought it might have been a gift that came with the car, but when he asked the woman about it, she told him she had put it there to protect the
This guy is a nightmare for girls in the town. He uses a blower to knock their hair down. He walks all around with a leaf blowing blast to see if a wig has been hidden or cast. But one confident girl said her hair was all real until he
Give it to me!
Oh no!
This man hasn't touched the floor for many years because he truly believes the ground is lava instead. So every single move turns into wild parkour at home. As he leaps across chairs and climbs over drawers alone, he walks on kitchen counters and balances on the fridge, carefully making every jump without a single slip. But his mom gets furious every time he starts again because his crazy landings keep destroying.
This girl got stuck in a baby swing, and after an hour of trying everything to free her, her mom had no choice but to call the firefighters.
Okay, now I'm gonna keep you upside down.
This couple thought they got rich
when they pulled out a gold ball.
The man started celebrating.
Dad was helping his 2 daughters jump into the pool, but little did he know his little toddler was also helping his 2 daughters jump into the pool, but little did he know his little toddler was also waiting for her turn. He grabbed his older daughters by the hands and launched them happily into the water. When the little girl's turn, she reached her little arms up, ready to go just like the big girls. But instead of tossing her into the deep, this water pipe burst in the middle of the road, and the pressure was so strong that no one could get through. Motorcyclists were afraid of falling, and cars could have been pushed away by the force of the water. But this truck driver came up with the brilliant idea and parked his truck in front of the pipe. He used his truck like a shield, and everyone was able to get home safely, but he only got 2 likes. This water, the boss placed number tags on everyone, and at first nobody This water pipe burst. This water pipe burst in the middle of the road, and the when this man got in trouble with his wife on Christmas night, she When this man got in trouble.
This girl was.
When this man got in trouble with his wife. When this man got in trouble with his wife on Christmas night, she pointed at him and told him to get out of her sight. So he grabbed his blanket and crawled through a tiny door inside. His golden retriever was waiting for him on the floor. What his wife didn't know was that there was a TV inside, along with pizza, Christmas stockings, and a huge setup on the side. They watched the whole show together, and when it was over, he high-fived his buddy and quietly left. But why does this adorable dog only have 2 legs? The boss placed number tags on everyone, and at first nobody understood. A while later, the boss explained that it was just an easier way to call people around the office. When the boss called for number 22, the girl immediately ran into the cabin in panic, but the boss laughed and said it was only a test. And suddenly, the screen showed the number 99, and a second later, it changed into 666. Everyone in the office. When this man tried to hang from the sacred tree, he immediately fell down, because only a person who is pure and blessed by God can hang from it. But when another boy tried to hang from it, he also fell down. Then many people came, but no one was able to hang from the tree. If you believe in God, then like this. When this man tried to hang from the sacred tree.
This poor boy couldn't catch a single butterfly, but when he finally caught one by accident, he was disappointed because he thought it was just an ordinary butterfly. But what he didn't know was that this butterfly was about to change his life. When he opened the slip attached to it, he couldn't believe his eyes. It said he had won $1 million. This poor boy couldn't catch a single butterfly, but when he finally caught one by
This girl was working out at the gym and kept adding more weights during her workout. Each time she pulled, she got stronger and stronger. Thinking all her training was finally paying off, she kept going harder, proud of herself for lifting so much weight without stopping. But after a while, she realized something was very wrong. The extra weights were not even connected to her side. They were actually on a guy's machine the whole time.
The contest was over and the girls received their medals, but when it was the winner's turn, she refused it and stepped away. She walked over to her mom and guided her to the podium so they could place the medal on her as a way to thank her for her support. And if you think we need more kids like this, subscribe. The contest was over and the girls received their medals, but when it was the winner's
This guy brought home a brand new stain-free carpet, so he went to try it out. He ran to the store and bought a pink can of paint and started pouring it on top of the carpet. But the paint already got stuck, so he kept on adding more paint until the carpet was completely pink. And he even washed it out with soap and threw it in the...
This girl heard that a green dragon.
This firefighter had one last test before joining the force. She had to climb a tall training board, just like reaching high places during a real rescue. With the captain watching closely, she climbed up fast and made it look easy. But the real challenge was coming back down, because one wrong move could... This couple counts to 3 and reveal their gifts. The girl got him an iPad and he got her a sword. The guy couldn't believe his eyes that she spent that much on him, but the girl kept staring at the sword expecting a ring. But everything started changing when the...
This guy became a millionaire.
This couple counts to 3 and reveal their gifts. The girl got him an... He pulls his girl's hood in the roller coaster and the other guys copied him instantly. He pulls his girl's hood in the roller coaster and the other guys copied him instantly, because this is not your average coaster ride. Everyone should wear their hood up tight. The boys kept pulling them one by one and the girls couldn't attack back. The seats were far, far away and the girls couldn't reach their way. They tried to keep their hoods on, knowing what's coming soon. While the ride was finally up top, the boys knew they had to give it all. They pulled their hoods once more and the girls lost on the spot.
On graduation day, the student was so excited that
This guy's finally about to solve.
As soon as the sound of a shoe.
Look, this kid's dad is so huge that when he gives him a...
These students thought their teacher was just playing a fun game, but as she cut the ribbons one by one, the room fell silent. These students thought their teacher was just playing a fun game, but as she cut the ribbons one by one, the room fell silent. They realized this was her way of saying goodbye on their very last day. Laughter quick.
When this girl ordered a juice, the shopkeeper handed her a big cup. But as soon as she raised her hand to pay, the shopkeeper gave a smiling gesture. The girl got confused and didn't understand anything. Then he gave the girl another drink and winked while asking for her number. But suddenly the girl's boyfriend, this guy was filming his friend working on a garbage truck when something unbelievable happened. His friend was not moving like a normal trash collector. He was sprinting like a professional athlete, grabbing bags on the run and catching back up to the moving truck without breaking a sweat.
These bodyguards are super duper smart because they reveal how they keep their clients safe from bad guys. And at first, they gather around the client to form a protective wall. But then they use their clothes to cover the girl. And finally, the client disappears with one of the guards. So that way the threat has no clue who she escaped with. These bodyguards are super duper smart because they reveal how they keep their clients safe.
Who is not dead?
The coach asked the students to sit down without bending their knees. He considered even the slightest bounce to be cheating, so he was confident he would win. But the students quickly came up with new tricks. Some displayed amazing flexibility, while others turned it into a series of fancy push-up moves. When the last child took the stage, he did something no one expected, leaving
This driver only wanted to get his windshield clean, so he stopped the car on the side just for cleaning. But suddenly a fuel station worker started filling fuel in the car. As soon as the driver drove forward, the pipe got pulled out with a jerk, and the fuel spilled and immediately caught fire. The good thing was that the driver...
These medieval spiral staircases were always built going up to the right for a special reason, because this guy explains that when soldiers were trying to invade your castle, there was a 90% chance they were right-handed. So when soldiers would run up these stairs, you could easily defend yourself, while the soldiers couldn't swing their right hand going up. These medieval spiral staircases...
Today this young girl has a birthday to see, but has no nice outfit to wear. And
Why do schools have showers that no one ever...
This guy has always been proud of being born.
When this guy entered the challenge, he forgot one simple thing. Being small means speed can be risky, because in this game, one fast step, one bad slip, and a winning moment can flip in seconds. But he still kept rushing, right where everyone else fell. He wasn't chasing the win anymore, he wanted one clean jump, hit that high drop.
With my bestie, like everything fun. Big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. Big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay.
This guy destroys every painting that he makes, but there's actually a reason why he breaks. Because he became famous for going out the frame, turning normal-looking paintings into something insane. In one of his most famous works, a little boy tries to fly, so...
This is probably the most flexible family in the world, and the last part will blow your mind. First, the dad lifts...
Everyone was really confused when this guy brought a skateboard onto a water slide. But it turned out the idea was actually genius, because at first it looked like he was just going to ride it down like a normal slide. But instead he kept pushing the board further and further through the tube. And after making it through every tight turn, he finally reached the very top. Everyone was really confused.
This coach challenged his team to sit down without bending knees. It sounded easy at first, but nobody could do it. Every time they tried, their body bounced a little, and the coach called that cheating, so he felt sure he would win. Some students tried flexibility, others turned it into a push-up. But then the last kid stepped in and came up with a new idea. He sat down in a way nobody expected at all, and the coach stood there.
These dogs were waiting for their food, but something wasn't fair. The man gave the white dog extra food, while the black got almost bare. The black dog looked so sad as he watched his brother eat. Then the next day he came back hungry, hoping for a bigger treat. But instead...
These people are waiting just to peek inside one tiny hole. This place in Switzerland became a weird tourist spot. They look inside, then walk away silent, because once you see it, you can't spoil the secret, so it stays hidden until you lean in and see it yourself. These people are waiting just to peek inside.
This girl was determined to prove the golden statue was fake. While the man wasn't looking, she quietly moved behind him and froze in place like a statue herself. Just when she thought she had finally caught him moving, he stayed completely still again, and she couldn't figure out how he was pulling it off. This girl was determined to prove the golden statue was fake. While the man wasn't looking, she quietly moved.
Thou two, come out and see how beautiful Dad draws.
The sports teacher punished them for coming late, but to these students it felt like fun instead. So they turned the challenge crazy in their head. They started jumping higher with all their might, trying to push their limits to a greater height. Each one kept going stronger than before, making the audience cheer even more.
This might be the smartest girl in the world, because she couldn't afford the bus fare for the road. So instead of buying a ticket, she grabbed onto the pole and made sure both her feet would never touch the floor. And soon the people all around started copying too, because she can't get fined at all.
This baby is the cutest student in the class.
Bro, my feet are really cold.
I'm going to peel off all of.
Whoever brings the most random item to class.
I am Ice. Hey, mister, where are you?
Look, if you're trying... Look, this girl was feeling really hot, so she walked into a shop and opened...
This girl was just playing and chasing her ball. She ran down the beach and she made a house fall. A boy spent long hours to build up this place, but she said she was sorry with tears on her face. The boy burst to tears when it fell to the floor, but he didn't give up and he started once more. He thought
they protect their monitors like secret files. The first guy used the traditional way, screen and head completely covered, but the second player had a smarter setup. He used a privacy.
You should squeeze ferrets like clothes, but they will never tell you these things. Ferrets are very emotionally attached to their owners, because after the babies are born, they first bring them to their owners to show them, and their body is softer than cats. They even become lifeless when they sleep, no matter what anyone does, because they have very little energy. That's why they sleep a lot.
Look, today was the day this adorable child was finally getting his arm cast removed. But as soon as he saw the doctor cutting the cast with scissors, he became a little nervous. The good thing was that this little boy did not cry at all while the cast was being removed. He sat quietly and simply kept watching the doctor. Even the doctor was surprised to see how such a small child was showing so much courage. In our country, people usually cut trees with a straight cut, which can cause serious damage because it makes it hard to predict which direction the tree will fall. But in Russia, people use a smart tree cutting technique. It takes more time and requires several cuts on both sides of the trunk and through the middle, but within a minute, the tree falls on its own in a controlled direction. In our country, people usually cut trees. Look, when this sweet 10-year-old girl arrived on stage with all of her friends, the other children were happily dancing, but she was standing quietly. Then she looked at her coach and pointed toward her stomach, indicating that she was very hungry and therefore would not be able to dance. Seeing this, the coach immediately brought her favorite food. As soon as she ate, a smile appeared on her face, and then she performed such a lovely dance.
When a woman moves the thread forward, the second person drags it right back. But this is where things get insane. Even though this side looks like she's making a picture of a dog, the other end reveals the coolest art trick. When a woman moves the thread forward, the second person drags it right back. But this is where things get insane. Even though
when this man suddenly woke up in his truck, he was terrified as the truck was still driving. At first he thought someone had stolen it, but then he looked in the driver's seat and saw nobody was there. But at that moment he realized when he went to bed, he put his truck on full autopilot.
this girl in Disneyland saw a cute boy, but she immediately got shy because this girl in Disneyland saw a cute boy, but she immediately got shy because he had the same costume as her and wanted to say hello. Her mother told her to relax and go on. Finally, she gathered all her courage and walked through the park with him. They ate ice cream together and rode a roller coaster until in the end they had to say goodbye. So they took one last photo. This might be the smartest girl in the world because she couldn't afford the bus fare for the road. So instead of buying a ticket, she grabbed onto the pole and made sure both her feet would never. This girl in Disneyland saw a cute boy, but she immediately got shy because he had the same costume as her and wanted to say hello. Her mother told her to.
As this woman drinks water, a push from behind spills it all on her clothes and she changes her mind. She turns right around with a slap in her view, but sees it's her daughter in military blue. The same thing now happens to this dad in place.
China, people use this stove to cook meals in just 5 minutes. Once the fire is lit in the chimney, they slide a few large logs into the bottom, and the flames erupt almost instantly. It burns so fast they barely have time to close the hatch before rushing to grab their pots and start cooking. The stovetop features interchangeable rings to fit any potted size, and there's even a small roasting drawer, perfect for making sweet potato.
This group of students looked like they were making a mess of the classroom on their last day of school, but that wasn't the case at all. They removed a ceiling panel and wrote their batch name on it. Then everyone added a handprint and signed their name. After that they put the panel back in place. Now their teachers will always have a hidden memory of their class. This group of students look like
This little girl wants to just fly like this man. Her dad picks her up to help out all he can. Once high in the air, she tries hiding her fright and does her best now to enjoy this big flight. But flipping up high over water brings fear, way more than she thinks as the water gets near. Instead of her
This girl grabs a rope, runs across the street, and ties it to a pole, completely blocking the road. Drivers are honking like crazy and yelling at her to get out of the way. But then she suddenly climbs right up the rope. At first, nobody gets what she's doing, but then everyone realizes that, so as not to hold up traffic, she only performs her acrobatic stunts when the walk signal is green. This girl grabs a rope.
At this bubble tea shop, you can bring your own container for your drink. So she brought an inflatable jacket and asked them to fill it with bubble tea. The employees had no idea what to do, but started adding the pearls first and then poured in the bubblegum flavored drink. It turned out there was a hole somewhere, but they quickly fixed it, and after an hour, her bubble tea jacket was finally ready. At the As soon as this man got up, this girl took his seat, and because of the way she acted, a girl who waited patiently became upset, so she planned a big revenge, and right in front of everyone, she sat in the air. The girl in the back looked stunned, and this idiot thought it was magic, but she was simply sitting on a stick. As soon as this man got up, this girl took his seat, and because of the way she... When this guy reached the final stretch, the race crew almost made a major mistake. Just seconds before he crossed the line, they nearly pulled the finish tape away. But right at the last moment, they rushed it back into place, because he wasn't the winner after all. The woman behind him was the real first place.
This teacher challenged his students to get an orange out of a glass full of water without spilling a single drop. The first few students failed horribly trying to grab it with their hands. One boy even tried moving extra slowly and carefully, but he still ended up spilling water everywhere. One after another, nobody could figure out how to get the orange out. Soon the whole class started feeling defeated. But then the last girl
The owner called her dog on the phone and said, "There's some money under the mat on my bed. Take it and come outside quickly. We're going to the market together. And if you do as I say, I'll buy you a delicious chicken leg too."
This is why you should always run slowly.
This woman thought she was going to have a baby boy, but it turned out to be a girl. The second time it was another girl. They didn't give up, but every time they kept having daughters through 4 or 5 girls. Still they wanted a son, no matter.
Look, this girl told her mom she wanted.
Mom, please step aside. I'm coming down in the elevator.
I'm not moving.
Mom, if you get hurt, don't blame me.
Relax. I've installed an automatic.
Mom, please step aside. I'm coming down in the elevator.
This man's car was so dirty that his neighbors started making fun of him, but instead of washing it, he decided to prove them wrong with his art. He started by writing 3.
Look, this girl.
This grandma had been running a small ice cream shop in Japan for years. As her eyesight grew weaker, she could no longer make perfect ice cream cones with the machine, and the swirls often came out uneven. When people learned about her story, they started visiting her shop to support her. They loved her tasty ice cream and filled her days with kindness, love, and lots of likes.
This man was caught using an AirPod in class, so the teacher approached him and said, "Give it to me," and he handed it over, but it was huge, so the teacher got mad and demanded the tiny one, but what he had handed over was the size of a shower head. The teacher got confused. Is this an AirPod or gym equipment? Now give me your phone. Classroom was happy since the teacher was leaving the room, except there was a problem. She had installed a camera to monitor the class. The class panicked right away and turned to the leader for help, and of course the class leader instantly found a solution. But not long after, the teacher returned with an angry face, so the leader started making excuses. Teacher!
After moving to a different city, this boy felt very lonely. He missed his friends every single day and often thought about the good times they had shared together. One day, his mom decided
The RA came checking rooms that night to see if all the students were sleeping right. But when he slowly
This boy used to walk to school, all his friends would make fun of him. When he told his dad about it, the very next day his father came to pick him up, and he brought his entire motorcycle gang. They were all wearing matching shirts just to show their support. The moment the boy saw them waiting for him,
when this woman walked into an ice cream shop, she made a super strange request. She wanted her ice cream to match the poster. Same look, same shape, no mistake. But the vendor was already a pro, and tricky customers were nothing new. So he grabbed one ice cream, took a tiny bite, shaped it like the poster, and made it.
This girl sat next to her crush, but she wasn't wearing makeup. She felt embarrassed and tried to hide her face, but the guy wanted to see her until she lent him her notebook. That's when he almost melted after discovering photos of himself pasted everywhere. Embarrassed, the girl pretended to fall asleep, so to
If this guy ever runs out of salt at home, all he has to do is come to this lake and scoop up some of the sand around it. It looks so fresh and clean that people sometimes mistake it for white beach sand, but it's actually pure salt that's left behind by the lake's extremely salty water. And because the salt content is so high, if you try to swim out to the middle, you won't be able to sink.
This boy wanted to see how fast he was compared to different animals. First he raced a hippopotamus, but sadly couldn't beat it. Then came the cheetah, which was way too fast for him to even have a chance. And in the final race he went against a chicken, and that was the closest he got to winning. This boy wanted to see how fast he was compared to different.
Ela desce, ela sobe, no baile é pressão. Mina linda, perigosa, rouba meu coração. Vai que
People said this video was fake because her legs were running at full speed on a treadmill while her upper body remained so calm that it looked like she was just walking normally. But in reality, it wasn't fake at all. She is a professional marathon runner with incredible body control, allowing her to stay perfectly steady even while running at high speed.
As she was leading the race,
Hey Mom, look! There are so many strange people.
When this little girl got on stage, all the other kids were performing perfectly, but she just stood there and didn't move at all. Then she looked at her coach.
This girl finally finished her puzzle.
Scruffles wants to take me to bed.
This time, the glass actually broke.
This guy has been going to the gym for 20 years and wanted to see how strong he was compared to different animals. At first he had no problems and lifted every weight easily, but the monkey's weight was the first real challenge, and when he tried lifting the poop,
this worker was just seconds away from getting fired when the giant TV showing football's greatest player suddenly went black.
he needed to fix it fast.
Before his boss walked by and saw the disaster,
Meanwhile, the crowd around him kept getting louder,
cause everyone was waiting to watch the huge moment on screen.
So he quickly grabbed the suction tool,
pulled the display apart,
and replaced the damaged panels in a row.
As soon as the race had begun in the track, the boy in the white shirt was leading the pack. The fast runners cleared all the small walls with ease and flew past the lane like a rush in the breeze. But reaching the big wall, they slipped on the floor, while he just kept running and pushing for more. With special grip,
this is how actors fall downstairs without getting injured, because instead of using a real staircase, filmmakers would turn the entire thing sideways on wheels and have them fall across it. And what looked like a dramatic tumble down the stairs was so
as soon as
this is how actors fall downstairs without getting injured, because instead of using a real staircase, filmmakers would turn the entire thing sideways on wheels and have them fall across it. And what
Why
looked
does this
like
racetrack
a dramatic tumble down the stairs was so convincing that the audience couldn't tell it was. This is how actors fall downstairs without getting injured, because instead of using a real staircase,
This road in China gets so icy that
When this girl showed a black dress to her husband, he instantly turned away from sight. But the second he looked back again, her outfit it had already changed bright yellow and white. At first he thought nothing strange was happening right before his eyes, until she switched dresses again so fast it left him completely surprised. But somehow she still only got 2 likes. When this girl looks into the sacred well, she sees both her past and her future, because only a person who is pure at heart and blessed by God can see visions in it, and they feel happy after seeing their future. But most people, after seeing their...
Wow, ma'am, these puppies are so adorable.
Oh no! What's this?
This baby was abandoned by his father because of a cleft lip. Worse still, the mother.
Never play hide and seek with your dog, because
This teacher did something kind of strange. Every single morning she checked whether her students were wearing thermal underpants, because the weather was getting colder. And if you don't keep your legs warm now, you'll suffer from leg pain when you grow old. One by one, the kids rolled up their pant legs to be inspected. Some were caught red-handed with bare legs.
A man invented the smallest bicycle in the world, but it was too difficult to...
This guy is the fastest garbage man in the entire world, because when he starts his shift in the morning, he immediately...
Everyone pushed past this elder.
This girl was preparing for a mystery date, however, she went crazy with the makeup, and out of nowhere, her mother sent a message: that guy has money! Make sure you look good. So in a rush, she hurried inside a taxi, and then she met an attractive guy. But she asked, mind if I record something? The guy said, okay, and gently she began taking off all the extra stuff, but then she got a call and realized she was in the wrong car.
This girl was saying goodbye to Japan, but the farewell she got was unforgettable.
As her ship slowly pulled away from the dock,
Locals gathered on the pier, waving colorful streamers through the air.
it felt like a scene straight out of a movie.
And as the distance grew, a few people even jumped into the water, waving and calling out one final goodbye. This girl was saying goodbye to Japan. These girls were tired of class, so they teamed up with the boys. While the teacher looked away, they started switching seats. Then a sudden sound was heard, and the teacher turned around, but the girls stayed calm,
acting like nothing happened.
When the teacher looked away, they continued the seat swap, slowly moving toward the front without raising suspicion.
Now only one step remained.
They had to leave the room,
so they quietly reached the door
and slipped out.
When this girl noticed this machine at the gym, she honestly thought somebody installed it the wrong way. So when she tried pushing it forward, nothing even moved at all. She then sat on it and started swinging side to side, still completely confused about what this thing was supposed to do. But right before she walked away from it, she suddenly realized it was a leg press machine. When this girl noticed this
guy had way too much dark hair on his chest. He did not want to shave it like all of the rest. He took the trimmers for a very special start and started painting hair into pieces of art. He painted blue and added purple spots there. He turned his chest into a monster with hair, then made tiny...
This guy is the fastest garbage man around, because the moment his morning shift comes around, he runs like an athlete, jumps off to grab the first bags on the street, and hops right back on with only one hand. Also skates down the road like the best in the land. Then he leaps off again for a few bags more and tosses them up like he's done it before. When one bag slipped and tumbled to the ground, he sprinted right after without losing his crown. And
hold on, what are you doing?
Just one pass, officer.
Just one pass?
Football players secretly apply this glue on their...
This bench is kind of like China's...
This girl saw a real-life roly-poly performance and...
This girl told everyone
What was that thing that slipped?
Hey, sorry to interrupt.
when this man tried to lift the...
this boy tried to come out of this sacred snow pit. This boy tried to come out of this sacred snow pit. He got out very easily, because only the person who is pure and has God's blessings can. He was tired of making his bed every day, so he built a machine to do it for him, using only things he had at home. While the bed made itself, he went to brush his teeth, and now his only job is to lie down in his warm bed and wait until everything is ready so he can go to sleep. He was tired of making his bed every day, so he built a machine to do it for him, using only things he had at home. While the bed made itself, he went to brush his teeth, and now his only job is to lie down in his warm bed and wait until everything is ready so he can go to sleep. He was tired of making his bed every day, so he built a machine. This girl's husband is angry because she bought this huge sofa for $10,000, but she doesn't care because this is not a normal sofa. First she came riding her tiny baby sofa that fits perfectly underneath the big one. Then she pressed a button on the armrest and charged her phone right on top. She also lifted the chase cushion to reveal a deep storage space. This guy leans into the bride's gown and grabs something with his teeth, but that is a classic wedding tradition in Western nations, because this fabric band is known as a garter, and the groom slips it off her leg with his lips, but once it's pulled away, he throws it straight through the crowd, and the guy who catches it will have to marry next. This guy leans into the bride's guy bought a new pool but forgot to get a cover for it, so he decided to test random things he already had at home to see what would work. Styrofoam failed immediately, but covering the pool with bubble wrap actually made a lot more sense. The only problem was how expensive it would be, and in the end inflatable mattresses turned out to be the best solution.
This guy has the absolute best job in the world because he gets paid to create absolute chaos. He literally grabs a massive chainsaw and runs right behind terrified kids to give them the fright of their lives. And just watch, because as they scream and sprint away in pure panic, it turned out scaring people for a living is the most hilarious.
She thought it was a regular trampoline, but the truth is this girl was completely mistaken, because as soon as she jumped on it, she instantly got stuck to the wall. Not only that, but they're wearing a special outfit entirely made of Velcro, so the harder they jump, the stronger they stick. But even after all that, no one gave them. This is why. At first she thought it was a regular trampoline, but the truth is this girl was completely mistaken, because as soon as she jumped on it, she instantly got stuck to the wall. Not only that, but they're wearing a special outfit entirely made of Velcro, so the harder they jump. The girl was shocked when her cat suddenly started tearing up its bed, but when she checked, she found a gold bracelet inside. After that, the girl told the cat to keep looking, so she just followed the cat around. Then the girl was shocked when her cat suddenly started tearing up its bed, but when she checked, she found a gold bracelet inside. After that, the girl told the cat to keep looking, so she just followed the cat around. Then the cat pointed towards a pomegranate. At first the girl didn't believe it, but when she opened the fruit, it was filled with gold. The girl thought it was all over then, but right after, the cat started sniffing a flower pot, and when she dug up the soil, there was even more gold hidden. This is why cheating is useless in this race. One guy was so fast that everyone already knew he was going to take the win, but his opponent had a genius plan to finish faster, since they have to fall back when they reach the top. Instead of climbing up, he decided to fake a fall early to beat him to the. This is why cheating is useless in this race. One guy was so fast that everyone already knew he was going to take the win, but his opponent had a genius.
This kid rang the door. This millionaire's.
When this girl decided.
This firefighter got a call about a deadly cobra in someone's bathroom, and everyone. This dad was playing. This girl went to see. This police officer was eating donuts while on. This husband was waiting.
This guy bought a stain-free carpet, and and put it to the test. He poured pink paint on top just to see if it was the best. The paint refused to leave, so he poured another wave. Soon the rug was glowing pink and looked beyond a save. He sprayed it down with soap and washed it through the night. He even used
Hey Emma, listen. Why are you trying to sleep while sitting? Look, I have this airbed right here. Take it and sleep comfortably.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Let me lie down quickly. I have an early flight to London tomorrow morning.
Wait, Emma. First, close that air valve. Otherwise, the bed won't inflate properly.
Oh, really? I had no idea. Let me close it right now.
Perfect. Now watch carefully as this bed...
This teacher discovered that the entire school building had...
Look, she secretly joined the race with only half a mile left before the finish line. The crowd was cheering, and she blended in with the real runners. Then suddenly, she started sprinting even faster. She crossed the finish line and threw her hands up, claiming the victory. The cameras captured everything, but the runners became suspicious because nobody had seen her anywhere on the course. When officials checked having a bad day at work, trying her best to hide her tears in front of the kids, but soon they all noticed how she was feeling. But instead of playing with their toys, they all got together and did this.
Reboot as soon as I am able. Every other day
She was having a bad day at work, trying her...
Let's go.
This boy's mom told him to study until all the candles went out. The moment he started reading, 2 candles went out right away. After he finished one page and turned to the next, a 3rd candle went out too. Then his glasses got foggy, so he took them off and blew on them to clean them, accidentally putting out another candle. When a mosquito started flying around him, he chased it around until every single candle was gone. This boy's mom told him to look as this woman was getting ready to play.
There's so much to say, but there's so little time. There's so much to say, but there's so little time. There's so much to say, but there's so little.
This girl had absolutely no interest in dance class. Instead, she spent all her time playing pranks on the teacher. While practicing, then she deliberately threw the brick she was holding, hitting the teacher right in the face. Later, during leg kicks, she pretended not to notice and kicked the teacher. Her little pranks made the teacher very angry.
These kids had recently lost their grandma, and their dad wanted to make them smile again. So he cut open part of the pool in his backyard and turned it into a fun water slide. And the kids had the time of their lives, but even after all that, no one gave the dad a like. These kids had recently lost their grandma, and his mom asked him to dip his feet in. He barely touched the water and he instantly yelled, "Ow, that's hot!" While sipping hot water, it was too hot for him as well. But when the mom took a sip, she looked so relaxed, like it was iced tea. As soon as the food was done, the son worked hard, wiping off the table, cleaning every plate, and even studying like never. But once he
This has to be one of the craziest jobs ever, as this skydiver has to land perfectly inside an NFL stadium with no room for error. But he also has to avoid lots of cables that are barely visible, including the 50-yard line cable, field goal cables, and camera cables, and just...
This man was dancing with this little girl, but after 10 years, you won't believe how much...
This woman played a prank on her cat during her pregnancy by showing him a fake ultrasound image and convincing him that the baby was his. After the baby was born, the cat truly believed it. Even when he was busy eating, he would immediately run over. As soon as he heard the baby cry, whenever the baby seemed hungry, the cat would alert the mother as if to say it was time. This short guy visited his tall friend's house, but the second he walked in, something felt off. He noticed his friend's mom was short too, just like him, and they both gasped in pure excitement. Then he ran and jumped onto the couch, and for the first time ever, his feet actually reached the floor. He checked the kitchen and everything was set perfectly.
Look, this disabled boy can't go to the bathroom on his own, so his mother bought a very special bed for him. But this bed isn't just for bathroom use. When it's time to eat, she simply presses a button, and the back of the bed lifts up so he can sit comfortably and eat. With the help of this same bed, washing his feet or cleaning his hair also becomes much easier. But his mother is still not happy, because no one...
The chubby girl in the back got scared when the teacher said only the kids who could pass through the small gap would be selected for dance class. The first girls passed easily, but when this cute little girl tried to cheat by pushing the bar backward, the teacher started laughing and still...
This student impressed the entire...
first day of school, all
The mother duck jumped into the water and left her baby.
This man cut a strand of hair from his wife. Look, this man did not know a small.
This couple was so focused on the movie that they didn't notice it's 3 a.m. Whenever this girl walked into the office, she was always dressed like a real boss. Even the actual boss was curious about where she bought such expensive clothes. One day the employees greeted her with "Hello, boss," but tried to block the real boss from entering. What embarrassed the boss the most was the look on his face when the employees said "boss." When his daughter told her sick father to sit on the porch, he had no idea why. But when sirens began to echo, he realized his fellow first responders were giving him a massive surprise tribute. Even though he's retired and battling cancer, his brothers in uniform wanted to show their respect. He was so happy that he stood up to wave and salute.
Vai quicando, vai jogando, não perde a razão no batidão, no batidão, só pura tentação. Ela desce, ela sobe, companhia, pressão, menina linda, perigosa, rouba meu coração.
This mistake looked impossible to fix. While finishing a wedding portrait, she added too much water to the paint and it started spreading across the canvas. For a moment, it looked completely ruined, but with quick thinking and careful work, she fixed the problem. In the end, the painting looked perfect and no one could tell a mistake had ever happened.
They called her the strongest girl in the world. With a soft and gentle face, she would even act cute and ask her boyfriend to open drink bottles for her. But in the next moment, she could lift a 100-kilogram stone with one hand. When someone littered and ignored warnings, she got so angry that she ripped the person's car door off. Even more unbelievable, her teeth were incredibly strong. She never needed a...
This man came to pick up his son at school, but when the teacher asked who he came for, he pointed at the kid in blue. However, the teacher asked the child if this was true, and he didn't say a word. So the teacher refused to let the child go, fearing the man was up to no good. But eventually the man reminded the child that he really was his
If you accidentally step on a landmine,
I just get so nervy. I just get so nervy.
When this girl moved into her new apartment, she had no idea she'd meet the world's best neighbor. Their windows were so close, they started a beautiful tradition. Every time one of them cooked, they'd make an extra portion to share. Whether it was breakfast or dinner, they'd simply pass the plate directly through the window. They made sure the other person never had to eat alone. If you wish your neighbor was this kind, leave a like.
This is why you should never forget.
When this boy spun the sacred ball on the wheel, it kept spinning without falling, because only a pure person with God's blessing can spin this ball. But when another man tried to spin the ball, it fell down immediately. Then many people tried, but no one was able to spin the ball on the wheel. If you believe in God...
Look, this girl knew that if she wore this
Hey, crazy woman, take care of your child. He might fall. Oh, my...
This mom turned her little daughter in.
This couple wanted to take a wedding photo. Nobody had ever...
If you hate puppies...
She thought the glass was just a mirror, so she confidently stood in front of it and started taking selfies. But the glass was actually completely clear, and two men on the other side could see everything she was doing. They stood there in shock as she even began doing funny little dances, not realizing she was being watched the whole time. When she finally walked inside, her friend pointed at the glass, and her face...
If you hate puppies, keep on scrolling.
This unstable rope ladder challenge was the hardest thing ever, because everyone tried and failed miserably. But this guy came up with an absolute genius idea. He literally turned completely around and started climbing the entire unstable ladder backwards. And just watch, because it turned out his crazy trick was the only...
This father ran forward in anger, rushing toward the statue of the Virgin.
These students look like they were making a mess, but on their last day of school they removed a ceiling panel, then wrote their batch name and signed it with handprints. After that they put it back like nothing ever happened. Now a hidden memory of their class will stay there for years. These students look like they were making a mess, but on their last day this girl adopted 2 black cats, but she could never find them. They always hid in dark corners or shadows. Every day the girl worried she might accidentally step on them, so she came up with an idea and put glowing stickers on them. But that ended up giving her a scare at night, so this time she dressed them in colorful clothes. Now she can finally spot them easily and
That's why people say, When this girl threw the sacred ribbon into this sacred bowl, it went in easily, because only a pure person.
These students made one last promise to their teacher that they would be sure to never forget her. So they climbed up to the ceiling and knocked a tile out and ripped it down. Everyone thought they were making a huge mess at first, but they had a special plan. They brought the panel down and started decorating it with special handprints and signed.
And that's why she was forced to delete this dance video, because when she started recording, she was only playing around with a couple of dance moves for the fun of it, but then right at the end, she hit
Flaquita.
this dog was having a Swedish moment with his girlfriend. Look, this man brought a new wheelchair for his mother, but as soon as she saw it, she refused. Look, this man brought a new wheelchair for his mother, but as soon as she saw it, she refused to use it because she did not trust the new chair. While the new wheelchair moved smoothly and comfortably, the mother's old wheelchair rolled too fast. When going up the stairs, the new wheelchair moved easily.
When this girl saw a man with what looked like a baby, she quickly gave up her seat for him. But it turned out he wasn't holding a baby at all. He was carrying a large wrapped package. As the man started unwrapping it, the item inside kept getting bigger and bigger. It turned out to be a giant teddy.
This woman wanted her best friend to have the most unique wedding gift. So she started by placing a flower and a couple of miniature inside a glass container. Then buried them under clear beads and some little hearts as a final touch. But she wasn't done yet. She took a second smaller glass and filled it with more beads and rubber.
This guy made a bet with his friend that he could break the world record on this special parkour course made for professionals. So he immediately started the clock and ran and cleared the first obstacle. Then he quickly dashed across a set of drums and jumped across these moving shapes. Then he had to avoid.
This woman was about to step out after her driving exam. However, the teacher stopped her, took a bottle of soda, placed it between his legs and started moving it strangely. The girl was completely confused. The truth was she had forgotten to put the gear in the proper position. But next she tried to get out, and once again the instructor moved the bottle up and down. The girl became...
This kid broke every rule on the court because he literally traveled across the entire floor without dribbling even once, just so he could finally make a basket. And just watch, because when he actually scored the illegal shot, it turned out his incredible celebration somehow made the entire moment even better. This kid broke every rule on the court because he literally traveled across the entire floor without dribbling even once, just so he could find...
A teacher gave each student a sheet of paper with only...
This boy was jumping in puddles when he...
I'm riding a wheelchair and I did running for the first time. Let's get rolling. This is the frame runner. It looks like a tricycle, but there are no pedals. So basically, I can stand up and run using my own feet while being... Look, this little boy.
Up with it, girl. Rock with it, girl. Show them it, girl. With a bang bang. Bounce with it, girl. Dance with it, girl. Get with it, girl. With a bang bang. Come on, turn the radio on. It's Friday night. Up Up with it, girl. Rock with it, girl. Show them it, girl. With a bang bang. Bounce with it, girl. Dance with it.
This boy was drawing in class. His art looked so real, a teacher thought he was eating chips. Even when he explained, she didn't believe him. So she punished him. Then he started drawing a power outlet and fooled her. A cactus fooled her again. A toilet and even a fake clock at this.
You don't hear me when I say no one ever listens.
When a hurricane hit this family's home, things suddenly took a wild turn. While the kids were desperately trying to open the door, their mother knew
This cat might be the most flexible cat in the world. She can easily squeeze herself into a tiny bowl after eating. The way she goes downstairs is even more outrageous. Every movement is hilarious, cute and quirky. You can never guess what she'll do next. But this funny cat only got 2 likes.
when this girl first arrived at her hostel. Look, this woman could not.
This cat was acting exactly like Mufasa after watching The Lion King on TV. When his owner saw this, he had a brilliant idea. He transformed his living room into an African savanna. The cat embraced his new kingdom and was hunting a zebra plush, riding on a robot vacuum. But then the owners brought puppies, came bounding out like hyenas, invading the Pride Lands. The cat quickly ran for cover and leaped onto the arm of the sofa. And as he sat there tall and proud, all the puppies sat below, looking up at him like their new king. If you think he's adorable, like...
Look, this boy made a...
In this tough dance school,
spotted an animal that looked like a mouse in the middle of the road. Worried it might get run.
This man saw a kitten during a flood who looked exactly like a superhero.
At a model academy for young students in huge hoop skirts had to stand up and strike a perfect pose. The first girl executed it flawlessly, gathering her skirt and transitioning into a confident pose. But the second pulled the fabric too hard, causing the front of her dress to fly straight up. To save face, she froze in an exaggerated glamour pose with her hand.
Up with it, girl. Rock with it, girl. Show them it, girl. With a bang bang. Bounce with it, girl. Dance with it, girl. Get with it, girl. With a bang bang. Come on, turn your bass. Stop. Kimchi. Mommy.
What's your talent?
I can read minds.
No, you can't.
Every day, this loyal dog has one very important job, picking up his little girl from school. One day, his owner... When winter arrived, this mother and her son decided to do something that made everyone shiver. They planned to take a dip in freezing cold water. The son looked excited and jumped right in without any hesitation. But things were very different for his mother. Before she could get into the water, she had to break through a thick layer of ice. Once she finally made it in, her body...
On this ride, there's a special rule that if every single person manages to touch the ring every time they pass it, then nobody has to pay, and the whole ride becomes free. So everyone focused as hard as they could and kept reaching for the ring over and over again. Each successful hit made them more excited and confident that they were about to win. But when the ride finally stopped, the owner revealed, baby, this is what you came for. Lightning strikes every time she moves. This guy had been dreaming for years of seeing a real rocket launch to the moon. With his mom, he sat watching the live countdown on his TV. But the second it lifted off on the screen, they suddenly rushed out to their backyard, because they actually lived close enough to see it in real life. They looked up and there it was. When this guy had been dreaming for years of seeing a real rocket. When the girl tried to wear the sacred bangle around her neck easily became longer. Because only the person who is pure and has God's blessing can wear it. But when another girl tried to wear it, her neck did not become longer. Then many people tried, but the bangle did not fit anyone's neck. If you believe in God, then like this video.
Look, Grandma came to visit her granddaughter and quickly noticed that she loved opening and closing the door over and over. So she took 2 rubber bands and attached them to the handles to keep the door from slamming shut and catching her fingers. Later, she saw that the little girl didn't want to take her medicine, so she put a little of her favorite juice on a spoon and placed the medicine on top. The girl swallowed it without even noticing.
The girl got off the car to buy a drink. While she was away, her elder sister secretly moved her seat into the sun. When she came back and
This dad accidentally fell.
When this girl adopted this little dog, it went crazy for food and even accidentally bit its own ears. That's why its owner has to tie its ears with an elastic band. She was afraid that eating so fast wasn't good for its health, so she started teaching it to eat more slowly. Now the puppy waits, and as soon as its ears are tied, it... You can't count on me, like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know
the girl was eating an ice cream when she accidentally...
When the boy snatched her orange, she actually spat on it. She told him to go buy his own if he wanted one. But then another girl handed him a glass of orange juice, so he mocked the first girl for being stingy. She got really angry, snatched the juice from him and spat into it again. The boy thought she wasn't
Tanto y lo siento yo, bailalo, gózalo, como lo canto y lo siento yo, bailalo, gózalo, como lo canto y lo siento
This little boy looks at his dad with a smile and says, I would like to just shave for a while. His dad puts some cream on his face for the play and uses a spoon just to scrape it away. The boy sits there serious, right in his place, with adorable looks on his cute little face. But when it is...
This guy is so lazy that he has left every single task to machines. The moment he wakes up in the morning, he doesn't do anything himself. He just presses a button. As soon as he presses it, his bed automatically slides inward. Then the bed sheet removes itself and goes directly into the washing machine. After that, another machine. This woman thought she was going to have a baby boy, but it turned out to be a girl. The second time it was another girl. They didn't give up, but every time they kept having daughters through 4 or 5 girls. Still they wanted a son, no matter what. And in the end they finally made it happen. A baby boy was born. Now that's what you call real determination. This woman thought she was going.
Ain't that some back home, buddies in the field, mud on the wheels, yeah. Ain't that some thick smoke, Silverado tearing up a 2-lane road. Ain't that some C-O-U-N-T-R-Y, shit we've been doing since we was J-High. There's folks out there ain't T-R-Y this. Ain't that some back home.
His grandpa didn't like cats at all, but when his son brought home a little kitten, she started following Grandpa everywhere he went. Grandpa tried to get rid of her and left her in the middle of a bridge, but even then the kitten found her way back to him. When people saw that, they all started leaving likes. His grandpa didn't like cats at all, but when his son brought home a little kitten, she started following Grandpa everywhere he went. Grandpa tried to get rid of her and left her in the middle of a bridge, but even then the kitten found her way back.
Rocky, you already had your bath. Now it's your turn.
His grandpa didn't like cats at all, but when his son brought home...
Today, the whole family came to the pool for fun, but they had no idea the little boy was about to do something that would give his mom a mini heart attack. Joking around, he told his older brother he wanted to do a backflip, so his brother lifted him.
This art school in China found a genius way to
As soon as the shoe fell,
Look, if you're trying to ride a surfboard for the first time, don't make the same mistake these people made. At first, everyone thinks it's really easy, but they don't know the right trick to get it going. So they keep repeating the same mistake over and over, while this girl uses a special trick as soon as
This little girl's friends called her into the pool, but the owner said no because she was too short. Her friends came up with an idea and gave her a pool ring to enter, but the owner still said no because pool rings can get punctured. Her friends were disappointed after he kept denying her entry, so they started.
This girl sat in her favorite spot and started drawing the street.
First she saw a girl skiing, gliding through the snow.
Then a boy walked by slowly,
struggling through the cold.
Next she noticed a man clearing snow from his yard.
Then a couple passed by on their winter walk.
She sketched every moment, one piece at a time.
And when she finally finished, all the scenes came together
into one beautiful drawing.
This girl was taking a modeling test where she had to step through the steps without looking at the gap. She moved slow, stayed focused, but one quick glance ruined the whole flow. And just like that, she filled the round. Then she tried sneaking around from the side, but that move didn't count either. That's when her teacher stepped in, kept it calm, kept it clean, and showed her how models cross.
This girl wanted to know which cat stepped on her banana. She measured Luna's.
Hey Olivia, what kind of stroller did you bring? The baby can't even sit properly in it.
Oh, Ethan, move aside. First, remove this feather from the side, then gently seat the baby.
Olivia, what kind of box is this? Is it for storage or something?
Ethan, seriously, this is an air purifier. It pulls in all the dust and dirt floating in the room and keeps the air clean and fresh.
But Olivia, if I want to take...
These swimmers had a wild pool idea, so the lifeguard turned it into a perfect line. They locked arms tight, crossed side to side, then dropped one by one like a timed water ride. Each person had space, each person had time, so nobody crashed when they followed the line. And even when someone jumped in too fast, the human chain still worked and the plan.
This girl was in a terrible car accident.
The girl wanted her sisters to believe she was very strong, so when her younger sister wasn't looking, she used a pre-cut watermelon and pretended to break it open with her bare hands. The younger sister was shocked and immediately believed it was real, but then she took a whole watermelon and tried to break it too. She used all her strength, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't budge it. She realized...
If you're locked in a freezer, don't panic.
I'm hungry. Me too. Me 3. What are you looking for? I'm looking 5. Are you 6? Nah, I'm 7. Who ate all the chips? Nah, that's mine, bro. Guys, we're gonna be late. It's almost 10.
This nurse suddenly came sprinting in, screaming, "Emergency!" Doctors dropped everything and rushed out, the assistants right behind them. Even the patient joined the race, holding his own IV drip. Everyone thought it was...
I'm hungry. Me too. Me.
This nurse suddenly came sprinting in, screaming, "Emergency!" Doctors dropped everything and rushed out, the assistants right behind them. Even the patient joined the race, holding...
These students literally wrote themselves into their school's history. The moment the teacher left the classroom, one guy suddenly stood on a desk and took down a ceiling panel. Soon, everyone began writing down the class's biggest secrets, including who had a crush on whom. Finally, they all left their signatures, put the panel back in place, and hoped that someday the next generation would discover it. These students literally wrote themselves.
This girl went to Dubai to go flyboarding after she saw how much fun it looked. So she asked another girl how she could do it herself. Then the girl jokingly replied that you have to be beautiful to fly. So she went to buy a new dress at the store and did her makeup and came right back to try.
What was hiding in that tiny tent so bright that made all the children rush inside with delight? But when this poor little girl slowly came near, the other kids mocked her and called her poor, then shouted at her to stay away from the door. So with tears in her eyes but dreams in her head, she grabbed an old mattress the trash had left instead. She built herself a tiny home on the side, hoping someone would finally let her inside.
The woman just started learning water runway. She didn't expect an accident to happen the next second. They started training one by one.
Oh no! One of us is tied up to that airplane!
Johnny, I'm scared of heights! I'm not getting pulled today! I'm too lucky!
Well, Marty, I think your luck is about to run out.
Daisy, what is that supposed to mean? The Danny just went flying!
That looks so...
This girl was so locked in during her slalom race that even her opponent was scared, which led to this dominant performance. This girl was so locked in during her
These three boys made a huge mistake. They didn't know how to use the playground equipment, so they just lay down on it as if they were in bed. It wasn't until a girl came over to show them the right way to use it that they realized how
Dancing in the mirror.
We're the Mario Brothers in plumbing's.
This parrot wasn't just a pet. It was a part of its owner's family, and it had spent more than 10 years by their side. But as it grew older, it eventually passed away. Its owner didn't want to lose it forever, so they took it to a preservation expert. The expert carefully cleaned and treated the body, then the car was speeding through the water.
When this little flower girl walked down the aisle, she left a beautiful mess on the floor. But when this little gentleman came in right after her and saw what had happened, he had the funniest reaction. He stopped, looked down at the floor and said, when this boy opened the gate and saw the pipe, he knew last night's mistake had gone way too far. So he quickly shut the water off, then checked how bad the damage was. The whole place was already flooded, but then he saw water covering the road too. Now even passing cars were struggling to get through, turning one small mistake into a much bigger problem. When this boy...
Look, this girl is really scared of getting a haircut because she thinks the barber will cut her hair too short. But her hair was badly tangled, so instead of cutting it, the barber applied a special cream and massaged it thoroughly through her hair for about 30 minutes.
She mistakenly tossed her drink into the swimming pool, so she rushed to call her otter for help. And right after hearing the girl's voice, it quickly came over and dove into the water. Next, the otter grabbed the soda can and brought it out, but rather than returning it to the girl, it carried the drink with its paws and placed it in the trash. She mistakenly tossed her drink into the swimming pool, so she rushed to call her otter for help. And
this girl had a birthday and wanted to see a beautiful princess she dreamed she could be. Her mom made a dress that was lovely and bright and started to get her all ready for tonight. With each pretty piece she was looking so grand, she becoming a princess all across the land. And
when this post went viral, many netizens were completely confused about the relationship between this young man and the little girl. Many people instantly assumed they were husband and wife, but in truth, the girl is actually his 8-year-old daughter, and the baby he's holding is her new.
Up with it, girl, rock with it, girl, show them it, girl, with a bang bang, bounce with it, girl, dance with it, girl, get with it, girl, with a bang bang. Come on, turn the radio on, it's Friday night, and I won't be long, gotta do. Up with it, girl, rock with it, girl, show them it, girl, with a bang bang, bounce with it, girl, dance with it, girl, get with it.
The girl was shocked when her cat suddenly started tearing up its bed, but when she checked, she found a gold bracelet inside.
Up with it, girl, rock with.
The girl was shocked
and sit with the wire you and all the.
When this girl stood under the sacred flowers, they opened easily because only a person who is pure and blessed by God can open this flower lamp. But when another person stood under these flowers, they didn't open at all. Then many people came and tried, but no one was able to open the flower lamp. If you believe in God, give a light.
When the main actress arrived at the dressing room, she had no time to waste because in just 1 minute, she needed to be back on stage. During that short break,
for 5 years of marriage, her husband had never seen her without makeup. But today, she overslept. So before her husband woke up, she had to rush through an elaborate makeup routine. After finishing, she quietly slipped back into bed beside him, as if nothing had happened. But later that day, an accident instantly.
When this girl dropped a coin and
4 things I never seen in my life. 1 mermaid. 2 dragon.
This guy is the king of water slides. At first he seems like a humble beginner who's got nothing but wait until he shows his secret trick, where you'd think he's a direct descendant of Aquaman, but still no one gave a like. This guy is the king of water slides. At first this girl decided to try a challenge that could end up costing her money. At this restaurant, customers can take as much tiramisu as they want in 1 scoop, and the whole portion becomes free. But if even a tiny piece falls, they must pay for the dessert. The carefully lifted a huge scoop with a spoon, while everyone watched closely with how much tiramisu she managed to take. The restaurant staff were not happy.
This girl ignored a simple warning.
If you hate puppies, keep on scrolling.
On Teacher's Day, students brought gifts for their teacher. One gave food, another gave a phone, and one even offered cash. But the last student had nothing to give, so he simply showed his love with a sweet gesture. Sadly, only 2 people like this video.
Every time the girl goes out to buy water, her
If the glass breaks while bathing,
Can't move on. I can't move on, baby doll. Waiting on.
A girl's mom secretly put a sticky paper on her back. She walked over to her dad, who was counting money at the table, and leaned against it. Her dad didn't notice anything. When she started to walk away, her dad called her back and asked for a kiss on the cheek. After she kissed him, he gave her some money. Then she happily ran back to her mom. A girl's mom secretly put a sticky paper on her back. She walked.
Look, the teacher is lecturing the students in the front row, but in the back, a troublemaker is secretly plotting mischief. He quietly grabs the teacher's phone and sends a message to the principal, claiming the class is getting a week off. But before long, the teacher catches him. Just as the teacher is about to
This dog has very long ears. Even when his owner gave him food, they would just fall right into the bowl. So after every meal, the man had to gently dry and clean them all over again. One day he even tried taping them up, but it didn't work. But the moment he felt sad and needed to wipe his tears, he used the dog's ears instead. And ever since then, those huge ears became part of his.
Oh my god, baby. Oh my god. Okay, baby. Okay, baby. Hi, honey. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
This guy just destroyed his luxury sports car because it started pouring rain. So he had to run back to the car to close up the roof, but the motor controls were too slow, and his interior was already getting drenched. So we had to slowly watch his car being ruined, and when the roof finally closed, the rain suddenly stopped. This guy just...
This teacher wanted the girl.
This girl has spent the entire past month creating something amazing using only dice today. She makes a final attempt with the long ruler, carefully lining them up one by one. At first nobody understands what she's building, but when everything finally comes together, 3 Chinese characters appear, revealing the word Chinese dream. This girl has spent the entire past month.
This is how handball players normally keep their balls sticky by using a special resin and applying it around their ball. But when this guy found himself alone after practice, he grabbed his coach's resin and decided to do the wildest thing with it since he completely covered the ball. And no one expected how messy this would turn out because he didn't stop there. Since
everyone mocked her for being too fat to be a dancer, and some even.
This is how handball.
Everyone.
This panda had the. When these students grew up studying at the same.
Today at the festival, someone gave this performer a baby doll made out of clay. His girlfriend asked to see it, then suddenly threw it on the ground. The guy got furious and stopped his performance immediately, trying to climb down as fast as he could, but his clothes got caught on the equipment when he finally reached her. He saw that the doll's body had been completely shattered. Today, this boy wanted to give his father a self-painted picture as a gift, but just before finishing it, it fell to the ground and broke. Time was running out because his father was coming home in just a few hours. So he sat right back down and painted everything from scratch in just 1 hour. Before I show you what happens, like and subscribe if you love your dad. This girl traveled to Dubai to try flyboarding, and she was shocked when she saw people gliding above the water. But when she asked another girl what it takes to do it, the girl jokingly replied, "You need to be beautiful to fly." Hearing that, she immediately rushed to the market. She picked out a gorgeous outfit and did her makeup, turning herself into a real-life princess. This guy bought a stain-free carpet and put it to the test. He poured pink paint on top just to see if it was the best. The paint refused to leave, so he poured another wave. Soon the rug was glowing pink and looked beyond to save. He sprayed it down with soap and washed it through the night. He even used a washing machine just to make it white, but the pink was there to stay. So now he's got a fancy rug.
Wait for last one.
Watch my juice, I poured. This woman pressed every.
In fact, if
This little boy came to a.
Where are you going, Kate? You need to go to the red light. Oh, really? Thank you, Salish. You are really kind. Haha, she is dumb.
Guys, we need to go on the green light. Oh no, there are bees around me. Damn, boys, why are they so dumb?
I don't know, Nadal, but
This girl heard footsteps, so she threw her phone away, pretending to sleep without delay. Her dad thought she was tired from her book, so he tucked her in. This girl heard footsteps, so she threw her phone away, pretending to sleep without delay. Her dad thought she was tired. This mom was slicing a watermelon for the family. tiny. The second she cut the first piece, her son grabbed it and started eating. Then she handed the next slice to her little daughter, but this girl didn't dig in like her brother. She turned around and carried it straight to her dad on the sofa, and he beamed when Mom cut a third slice. This otter jumped into the pool to cool off on a hot summer day, but the moment he touched the water, he realized something was wrong. The pool was frozen. He paddled with his little paws and tried splashing with his tail, but nothing worked. When his owner saw him struggling, he quickly ran over to help and broke the ice himself as soon as the water was
This couple decided to follow a delivery guy because he was carrying a huge pizza order. With a red flag in his hand, they kept wondering who could have ordered so many pizzas, so they followed him until he finally arrived at a massive house. At first, he looked a little confused and started carrying all 30 pizzas to the front door. The homeowners came outside and even they looked impressed by the giant order, but the best...
The girl dressed up as a fairy godmother and went to Disneyland. Unexpectedly, she met her favorite muscular guy on the train. To get his attention, she decided to remove her makeup right away to change her look. She asked the boy to get some water from the restroom for her. Then she quickly took off her fake nose and tore off her false eyelashes. After that, she watched
this boy.
Never press this black button just because someone tells you to, or you could end up like this guy. He touched it by mistake and the wheel came out from inside. Within seconds, 4 wheels came out and the whole car started to form. But when people realized it was an AI-generated car, they left a like so they could get one. Never press this.
When this man checked how sharp this knife was, it cut through paper very easily. Even so, he said the knife was bad and walked away. After that, everyone who came by tested the edge, said the knife was bad, and left. This happened because this kind of knife can also cut hard things like a thick tire. But in reality, these knives...
This cat has the most magical fur, and it reacts in the strangest way whenever it touches water. To prove it, the owner gently parted the cat's fur and poured a little water on his back, and it actually formed a tiny pool. Seeing this, the owner came up with a brilliant idea. Since the family's fish tank had just broken, she decided to make one on the cat's back.
When this man checked how sharp...
This cat has the most magical fur, and it reacts in the strangest way whenever it touches water. To prove it, the owner gently parted the cat's fur and poured a little water on his back, and it actually formed a tiny pool.
This girl went to Taylor Swift.
This girl is so tall that everyone compares her to a giant pole. Even her little sister has to look way up just to talk to her. Outside, she keeps avoiding tree branches hanging over the road. But the worst part happens when she tries sitting inside a car, because her long legs barely fit inside at all, and buying clothes becomes a struggle too. Most shirts look too short on her.
Everyone, this is our new classmate.
Why is she so quiet? I don't like her.
Don't be scared, Mary. I'll stick with you.
Why doesn't she sing?
This teacher got so tired of the loudest class in the entire school that she decided to teach them a lesson they would never forget. She arrived early and spent hours filling the board. Line by line, an entire chapter from a textbook appeared.
This customer was completely shocked when her waiter brought out a giant, strange sack of dough. She thought the kitchen made a huge mistake, but he refused to take it back. Instead, he used a knife to carefully slice open the top and peel back the thick edges. It looked like a beautiful
3 things people say exist in Japan, but are actually false. They say that this machine, when you put your hand in, gives you an injection without you feeling it. But in reality, it is just a hand washer. The second is that they say this sponge on the sink faucet is present in all bathrooms in Japan.
These friends were making fun by checking each other's reflexes for fun. The first guy turned out super slow, missing the pillow nice and low. So the second boy tried a brand new way, but failed even worse in his own display. Then the third guy came with a trendy move and almost looked smooth. These friends were making fun by checking each other's...
This man had just finished digging the hole he never... Everyone's saying this dog might...
Dad is sleeping. This man worked at BMW for 45 years, and today is his last day. As a farewell, he receives a specially made keepsake from the company, and all his colleagues are heartbroken to see him go. Before I show you what happens, like and subscribe if you love your mother. But that wasn't the only thing he received. The company surprised him with a brand new car, completely free. Every time this artist starts twisting wire into shape, people think the whole thing is about to look terrible. This Chinese craftsman uses tons of wire, while people keep claiming his work is going nowhere. When he starts cutting pieces, the tree looks rough and strange, like one wrong move could ruin the whole frame. But near the end, the tiny details start to shine.
Add light soy sauce.
Light soy
Luna, what's wrong? The mother asked for a slice of watermelon.
His grandpa didn't like cats at all, but when his son brought home a little kitten, she started following Grandpa everywhere he went. Grandpa tried to get rid of her and left her in the middle of a bridge. But even then, the kitten found her way back to him. When people saw that, they all started leaving likes.
You naughty boy! Take this and go to sleep, because I swear, if you start crying again, I'll take you outside and leave you there. It's already 2 a.m. and I need to sleep. So here, I'll just cover you with a blanket. And now, it's my daughter's turn. But here's the thing, if she makes the slightest sound, her brother's gonna wake up too. And trust me, if either of them opens their eyes, I'll leave them both outside with the dogs.
What happens if you connect a river to the ocean? This guy decided to try it. He was curious about what would happen if a river and the ocean met, so he started.
She might be the most popular teacher in the world. Before the exam, she didn't have her students memorize anything. Instead, she taught the whole class how to draw a rose in just 1 minute. The teacher demonstrated step by step on the blackboard. The students followed along. Every stroke was simple and clear. Before long, they had.
If this video gets 1 like, that's...
When someone throws a piece of bread in.
Hey, Mom! I'm grown up! You can't be mad about my tattoo.
When this girl was in the elevator, she saw a guy handing out snacks, and because she was hungry, she also reached for one. Even though everyone stared at her, she just smiled. After a few seconds, the elevator opened and they all walked out together. And in that
This happy young girl who was born with 1 leg, she can take off the piece by herself like a peg. She takes off the piece by herself with great pride and shows how it works as she sits on the side. Her mom asked to put it back on from the start. She fits it together and names every part. She puts on the...
Look, this girl showed a photo of her mom and dad, but the video got no likes. Then she showed a photo of her
She put a potato chip in her mouth to
Naughty, and so if I do not find somebody soon, I'll blow up into smithereens and spew my tiny symphony all up and down a city street while trying to put my mind at ease. Like finishing this melody, this feels like a necessity, so this could be the death of me, or maybe naughty. And so if I do not find somebody soon,
This is how people cheat.
What can I say?
I don't know.
What can I say?
Girl, this is the bank.
What can I say?
You sing terribly.
What can I say?
Like and share if you love your mom.
He and his girlfriend had
so the story goes, Alice, heart and soul fell into a rabbit hole. Dreamers dream until they don't, lost her mind a while ago. Alice, don't you know Wonderland was all a hoax? Made it up so she could cope. Not a day.
Yeesh! Yeesh! No!
I have a calculator. Every day before letting her students into the classroom, this teacher checked to make sure they were wearing an extra layer of warm pants because the weather had gotten too cold. One by one, the kids rolled up their pant legs for inspection. Some proudly showed off their thick thermal leggings, while a few cheeky students revealed bare legs and tried to sneak past with a sheet.
These sisters were filming late at night. When they heard a noise, they panicked and hid one of them, threw her slipper away, trying not to get caught. Their mom came in and looked around. Then she saw the slipper and realized someone was hiding. She opened the closet and caught one girl while the other...
house with a swimming pool, but with no money she built one above the water. But the floor is so slippery she couldn't even walk when she tried eating an orange. So much water splashed out. Later she threw a wet sheet at her friend for fun, but the sheet was so heavy it hit her like a truck. Then they got hungry and tried eating underwater, but everything became such a mess that the whole idea failed. So they called him, "Hey, Mr. Policeman."
I'm not a mister.
"Hey, Mr. Policeman."
I don't speak Spanish.
"Hey, Mr. Policeman."
Who are you?
"Hey, Mr. Policeman."
Like and share if you love your grandma.
"Hey, Mr. Police." Her boyfriend made a big mistake when he tried to mess around with the carrot gun his girlfriend had made using just her teeth. She had the cutest little bunny teeth and was obsessed with carving carrots into all kinds of things. She made carrot rings, a ladle. She drank water from a phone stand for her hands, free viewing, and even a fork for her carrot snack. So when he pointed the toy revolver at her, she climbing the spinning screw, and at first she looked like she knew what to do. Step by step she kept moving high, so everyone thought she would reach the sky. But the higher she climbed, the more she slid, falling right back no matter what she did. Still, she kept trying again and again until she finally knew it was enough.
Fim de semana, só rolê bom. Ela chega e desencana com passo bem solto, passo bem solto.
We need to find out who stepped on this food. Let's see, was it you, Chubby? No, not you. Okay then, was it you, Biscuit? No, no, not you either. If anyone would do this, it's definitely Peanut. Just as I thought, this is Peanut written all over it. But look at him, he's too cute, I can't.
This little sea otter spotted a snack and instantly forgot everything else. He rushed over like, "Wait, is that for me?" The fish was just out of reach, so he stretched and stretched and stretched. Tiny paws, big determination, and then, yes, he got the fish! Yummy victory.
Rafa, what's up? Let me see your tattoo. Oh no. Let me, Rafa, please.
Oh wow. Only if everyone subscribes to the channel and leaves a like, I'll give you 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Everyone subscribed.
I was a ghost, I was alone. 더워진 길 속에 Given the throne, I didn't know to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I
Birthday and wanted to see a beautiful princess she dreamed she could be. Her mom made a dress that was lovely and bright and started to get her all ready for tonight. With each pretty piece she was looking so grand, she becoming a princess all across the land. And when it was 如果爱我你就轻轻点点头，你说爱我就跟我走，风雨也跟我走，海角也跟我走，决定就不回头，你说爱我就跟我走。
This guy was trying to walk on water using 1 packet of chips, but it didn't work, so he brought 10 packets of chips, but he still fell straight into the water. Then he made a boat using 50 packets of chips, but when he jumped on it, he fell in again. But he tried again, and this time This girl went to the dentist and got confused by a yellow device. She thought she was gonna bite down on it, but the dentist stopped her. She bit down completely, but it was still wrong. She even brought her nose closer, still no luck. The dentist kept shaking his head. It turned out the dentist just wanted her to remove the plastic cover.
This man has a school where the puppies all play. He teaches them games in a wonderful way. They jump on the rope as they leap in a line, with practices making them expert and fine. But stress comes along with a sudden surprise, a test from the teacher before their own eyes. The school bell.
Look, this boy rides down.
On the last day of elementary school, all the students gather around a maple tree, holding ribbons in their hands. But as they walk in a crisscross pattern, something beautiful starts to happen. And when you finally let go the ribbon, this school has a special tradition. This school has a special tradition. On the last day of elementary school, all the students gather around a maple tree, holding ribbons in their hands. But as they walk in a crisscross pattern, something beautiful starts to happen. And when you finally let go, the ribbons turn into one giant knot they'll never forget.
When this mom woke up at night, her newborn baby was not there. She panicked and woke up her husband, and they both started searching everywhere. Neither of them could find the baby anywhere. But then the mom checked her husband's pillow, and there
ela desce, ela sobe.
This girl saw blood coming down from the statue's eye, but she comforted the elephant and quickly ran to her dad. And after seeing the problem, he grabbed some cotton and gently treated the sight. But despite all that hype, nobody gave her a like. This girl saw blood coming down from the statue's eye, but she comforted the elephant and quickly.
This girl broke her scooter, she vowed to find out who did it. Whether the culprit was on the road or in the garden, she was determined to find it. First she went home to check. This one was too small, this one was just right. That's the one who broke it, but it's so cute, I can't bear to punish it if it gets 2 likes. This girl broke her scooter, she vowed to find out who did it. Whether the culprit was on the road or in the garden.
This girl was tired of always standing on the train.
How do you find your talent?
This little girl was born without working arms or legs, so this kind woman decides to help her. First, she lifts her up with her hands and helps her move. She does this every day for a month. It looks like she's in pain, but the woman doesn't stop. After some days, her body starts to move a bit.
Up with it, girl, rock with it.
So if I do not find somebody soon, I'll blow up into smithereens and spew my tiny symphony. Naughty, so if I do not find
An animal that looked like a child approached this boy.
Today was the white dog's birthday.
Military dad had a special surprise waiting for his daughters at school. Both of them were going about their day with no idea he had finally come home. But the moment his younger daughter realized who was standing in front of her, everything changed. And when his older daughter saw him too, she ran straight into his arms.
This girl hates Coca-Cola, so when she went on her bike, she grabbed only the Sprite. Then she tried to take the Coke too, but it stayed out of sight. When she asked Dad for help, he didn't hear a word and rode off fast. Later he said it was her fault, the Coca-Cola was missing, and even went back. But even after telling the truth, she only got 2.
This guy was riding home from work and started overtaking a car in front of him. But the driver got really upset and stopped the motorcyclist because he thought he was riding too close. The biker didn't argue and just wanted to show them something, which made them really curious. And it turned out he was selling the driver's favorite nuts. So in the end, he bought all of them.
This girl was in the water and asked a stranger to help her. But as soon as people lifted her off, she asked them to go grab the towel in her backpack. However, after they came back with the towel, she surprisingly was no longer wet, and no one could understand why. So they just brought the towel back to the bench. But as soon as they turned around again, she was all wet once again. It turns out they were...
This guy tried to prank a hippo, and it completely backfired. First, he gave the hippo...
This otter jumped into the pool to cool off on a hot summer day. But the moment he hit the water, he felt something wrong. The pool was frozen. He paddled his little paws and splashed his tail. Nothing worked. His owner saw him struggling and ran over.
Dame un grr.
Un quê?
Un grr.
Un quê? Un quê?
Un grr.
Un quê?
Tava na escola, fazendo lição. Aí a professora falou, vou passar questão. A conta é muito fácil, acho que...
When this mom was playing a game with her family, she was sure she knew where the ball would be. Without thinking twice, she bet $100 and she won with ease. But her husband suggested playing again, and this time he planned a little scam. When she placed her bet on the left cup, her daughter even told her, come on mom, bet.
Why do schools have showers nobody is allowed to use? Most people think they're unnecessary, but there's actually a reason behind it. But if you take showers, like and subscribe, you've probably seen these strange showers sitting inside chemistry labs. They're actually emergency safety showers designed for chemical accidents. So if dangerous chemicals ever spill on someone, they can pull the lever and wash everything off.
While the owner was lovingly getting his white dog ready for a party, the black dog standing near
A baby that looked like a strawberry candy she found on the street. She fed it some milk from a straw every day and made a small home where baby could stay. The animal grew and its fur started coming. She thought was a squirrel, but Glider was running. When this girl stood under this sacred lamp, it opened easily, because only a pure person who has God's blessings can open it. But when the other girl tried to open the lamp, it did not open at all. Then many people came, but no one was able to open it. If you believe in God, then like this video.
This group of firefighters just got to use an emergency fire pole for the first time, because most modern fire stations remove these poles for safety reasons. When these firefighters, some with decades of experience, finally got the chance, they couldn't wait to try it, including the captain, a veteran who hadn't slept.
This girl went to Japan to fly after she saw other girls flying just like a fairy. So she went inside the store nearby to see how she could become a fairy herself. The owner jokingly said, "You need to be beautiful to become a fairy." So the girl picked out the prettiest dress in the entire store, then started putting on her makeup. After the makeup is done, she is now finally ready to fly.
Never ever try to remove your cast using an ordinary cutter, or this is what will happen. You see, when it's time to remove a cast, doctors don't use a regular cutter. They use a special tool called a cast saw. Instead of spinning like a knife, it vibrates back and forth at a very high speed. This allows it to cut through hard plaster or fiberglass easily.
This guy is a fool and keeps breaking the clay by dropping the pots that he made every day. He sets them on edges where they're sure to fall, to look like he has no real talent at all. He taps on the table and breaks them by choice to give all his pieces a creative voice. It looks like a mistake, but it is a plan, so give him a like for this
This man had no friends, so he would often watch how this cat became a private investigator when he noticed a little boy crying over his toy train because one of the pieces had gone missing. Wanting to help, the cat searched through every corner of the house trying to find it, but had no luck. Later, after reviewing the security cameras, he realized the boy's mom had accidentally tossed the missing piece away, assuming it was trash. Not wanting the
When this girl flew the sacred lantern, it rose easily into the sky, because only a pure person who was blessed by God can make it fly. But when this boy tried to fly the lantern, it fell to the ground. And many other people tried, but none of their lanterns went up. If you believe in God, like the video. When this girl...
This is why blind chess players are so hard to beat. This woman sacrificed almost every piece until she only had a king and queen left. But her opponent thought victory was already guaranteed, and just a moves later she trapped his king and delivered checkmate. This is why blind chess players are so hard to
These kids were scared to go down this water slide, but the lifeguard told them it was completely safe and he would always be watching. So they jumped right in, and just as they got to the middle of the slide, something much more serious happened, because when the lifeguard looked down at the bottom, he noticed the kid.
Catch my heart, catch my heart, baby. Catch my heart, baby.
These guys found a drain with no bridge, so they decided to build one themselves. One guy stood in the drain with a wooden log, while the other started stacking more logs. A few on the right and a few on the left, then two more on each side, and one final log to hold everything.
Who is it?
What is this?
This is sugarcane.
Stop! Emily, don't eat that!
It's just a little red. It's fine. Don't worry, Luna.
Are you sure about that?
What is going on here?
I'm so sorry. All of today's sugarcane went bad.
Toss it out! Quick!
You were right, Luna. I almost...
Look, when the shopkeeper claimed that this carpet wouldn't get dirty easily, the man decided to take it home. Then, to test it, he poured pink paint all over it. He thought it would be easy to clean later, but he kept adding more and more paint until the carpet looked completely ruined. After that, he poured water on it and tried scrubbing it with soap, but it didn't make much difference. It seemed like the
This girl owns a collection of unique dresses. The first one is a sofa-shaped dress with it. She never has to worry about not finding a seat again. The second is a bed-shaped dress. If she feels sleepy, she can lie down and sleep anytime, anywhere. The third is a folding dress. Whenever she feels socially anxious, she can simply fold herself up so no one can see her.
This actress had just 2 minutes to transform into Princess Fiona's ogre form. Her team quickly gathered around to start applying the makeup and final details. But as the clock kept ticking down, the class just got its bills. And just before the next scene began, her entire transformation.
This cat leaves fur everywhere, so his owner came up with a brilliant idea. He collected all the loose fur and made a tiny pair of cute slippers just for his cat. But when the other cats saw them, they got super jealous, so the owner decided to make slippers for all of them too. Even after that, there was still plenty of fur left. Not wanting to waste it, he started making little plushies that looked exactly like his.
Look, this mom and her little son were about to spend the night in a place that many people considered creepy and unsettling. So, without wasting any time, she started paying attention to every little detail to make sure they stayed safe. First, she hung her child's toy on the door handle so that if anyone touched or moved the door, she would notice right away and be alerted. Next, she
I take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down till we're dead and buried. On the edge of your knife, staying drunk on your vibe. The angels up in the clouds.
I don't wanna say goodbye, 'cause this one may.
Which earrings would you choose if your fingers get wrinkly?
Freeze! You are under arrest for robbery.
This cat accidentally made his owner rich, because when the girl came looking for rare gemstones, she brought her cat, who has a really good sense of smell. At first they found some tiny colorful stones, but they didn't seem to be valuable at all. Then the cat started using his nose and found some unique rocks, such as one that looked like a piece of meat and even orange stone balls.
These are the top 3 smallest cat breeds found on Earth.
Reptiles, a unique test for people who want to work on its assembly lines. Applicants are given just 6 seconds to complete a simple looking task. But this challenge is about much more than finishing on time, and it's designed to test the speed and precision needed on a real Toyota assembly line. Reptiles, a unique test.
This girl knew very well that as long as she was with her dad, nothing would happen to her. That's why she got into the balloon even before it was inflated. Then, when it was completely filled with air, her dad took out the hose and told his daughter that he was going to release the balloon into the water. So she had to try to keep her balance inside. However, as soon as the balloon touched the water, the girl fell out because keeping your balance inside
Tilo! Mozetala, mozetala, narigu naritala. Pikuko. Aga! Tilo! Mozetala, mozetala, narigu naritala.
This woman was told by her doctor,
"You have only 2 months left to live."
So after hearing that terrible news, she ran straight to her horse. Because before saying goodbye, she wanted to leave him with a lasting memory. So using clippers, she painted a heart on his body. And surprisingly, the horse seemed to understand, as it stood in complete silence. But if you don't want this woman to die, leave a like.
This woman found paw prints on her dough. She checked her sweetest cat, Daisy, first. Innocent. Then the newest family member, Panther. Not guilty either. Suddenly, she noticed Zoe running away. When she showed Zoe the dough, Zoe looked away, pretending she knew nothing. Guilty. As punishment, Zoe stays in this bag until
He refused to leave his wife behind. In 2020 in China, Ni Jianwen carried his wife on his back and tied her to himself with a bedsheet before climbing into his truck. She had suffered brain damage that left the right side of her body paralyzed, but he refused to leave her, so he
This man is over 220 centimeters tall, so every time he goes out, he has to bend over to avoid bumping into obstacles. Riding in a car is also very uncomfortable for him. Even more amusing is that when he takes the subway, he has to keep his head tilted back the entire ride. Because of this, he needs to eat large amounts of food. When this girl picked up the sacred gold, it lifted easily because only a person who is pure and blessed by God can lift this gold. But when another man tried to lift it, it didn't move at all. Then more people came and tried to lift it, but no one could move it. If you believe.
This girl pulled her husband off the bed and flipped the bed over and even broke it. When her husband asked why, she showed him a special bed she had ordered from Japan. All she had to do was place it on the floor and press a button and the bed unfolded by itself. The bed even had a cute bear design on it. But her husband said she would have to return the bed if this video did not get 2 likes. This girl pulled her husband off the bed and flipped the bed over and even...
Wrap the dry noodles tightly around a pair of chopsticks.
Wrapping dry noodles around a pair of chopsticks.
Then hold them lifted above a pot of hot oil.
Holding them lifted above the pot of hot oil.
And carefully spoon that oil over them.
And I'm carefully spooning oil over them.
This causes the outside strand
taking photos with animals can go wrong fast because this girl in the
When this object is dipped into water, something incredible happens. The design instantly wraps around it and sticks perfectly to the surface. This process is called hydro dipping. A floating layer of paint transfers onto the object, creating a unique pattern. If this amazed you, get.
When the girl woke up, she found that her sandals were missing and immediately became anxious, searching everywhere. She discovered that her friend was holding the sandals. Her friend probably thought they were a plush toy. When she got the sandals back, she was puzzled as she couldn't wear them at all. It turned out that the sandals had been sewn together. This made her very sad because the cute sandals could no longer be worn. What was even more devastating.
That's why you should have a black cat. When this girl brought her cat home, after taking it for a walk, the cat...
This lady loves snacking on fruit, but she kept the seeds in her mouth. Her mad boyfriend told her to spit them out, but when they were riding a bike, she ate sugar cane and used her boyfriend as a trash bag. At school, she ate again, knowing she had grains in her mouth. He made her spit one more time, but when he caught her drinking boba, she... This girl always liked to sit on her cat's tail. The cat told her to get up, but she not only refused but also mocked it. So the cat secretly plotted revenge. One day, the cat set up a hidden mechanism and secretly installed a button. Then it remained on the sofa as usual.
This girl needed to travel over.
This girl always liked to sit on her cat's tail. The cat told her to...
Look, this poor grandpa used to make children laugh with videos of his magic tricks, and today he has around 4 million followers. But most people did not know that he was fighting a serious illness, and even when he did not have much time left, he kept a smile on everyone's face by making videos of his magic tricks until his last days. But sadly, today he got no likes. Look, this poor grandpa...
I love you, you love me. Okay, now you're my bestie.
Look, the moment this boy and girl stop at the traffic light, the boy's dog suddenly starts staring lovingly at the girl's female dog, and she also keeps looking back at him. Then, out of nowhere, the dog sweetly kisses the female dog. But just then, the dog notices a man inside a car recording the whole moment. Seeing this, the dog starts barking loudly to make him stop recording the video, like and subscribe for their mother.
The child's father shaved his head with his own hands. The mother was heartbroken, but she didn't stop him because the child had been...
Today this girl notices something interesting in the garden, but as soon as she jumps on it, a fountain of water suddenly sprays out from inside and soaks her clothes. Instead of getting scared, she comes up with a plan to trick her friend too. Hey Julia, come look at this. It's so much—
Why are people wearing these weird glasses? They look strange, but there's a—
The student accidentally made the funniest mistake. His teacher told him to go to the next class and bring back some chalk, but he got confused, walked out. This girl girl lost her dog and she missed him so much. She made a new friend with a soft little touch. She used all the fur and the filling for light to shape every part and to make him look right. The dummy was finished and looked like her friend. Her sadness and sorrow.
What happens when MotoGP riders swap superbikes for tiny toy bikes? At the 2005 Chinese Grand Prix, this is why you should never buy a cheap reversing camera for your car. Because when this guy tried reversing his car, he came across the craziest realization.
The father was teaching his
This girl lost her cat, she missed him so